Okay, so I wanted to translate. This is something that I do on the side just about every week. It's really a miracle of technology that we have today. My Rebbe for many, many years has been the Kalover Rebbe from Williamsburg, a very big tzaddik, someone who, in my estimation, is unique in our generation. And I don't say that lightly, and I don't say that, I don't say words like that just simply. I really mean what I say, having known him, for probably 15 years already, Kalover Rebbe, maybe more. I first met him would most likely be in 1998, 1999, something like that. When did I went to Ezra Academy. It's 1999, 98 or 99 thereabout. So, right, I guess it would be in September of 98 is when I went to Ezra Academy. And I guess the Rebbe came there sometime around that time. I remember seeing him in the elevator, maybe holding the door for him or something. Like, I was just so impressed to see. It's not only what I saw with my eyes, but there's something spiritual. Obviously, he's a very impressive-looking person with a big beard, and he wears a blue bekisha in the week, and white bekisha on Shabbos. Dresses. It's not just the way he dresses, and not just the way he looks, but there's a spiritual quality to him. And then I didn't know what was going on, and we went in for a kvittel. I never did that before. I never went to a Rebbe before for a kvittel, and I remember he was like smacking my face back and forth, and I just felt like I was in another dimension. I felt like I could feel all the angels around. It was a very intense spiritual experience just to be in his presence. And unfortunately, over the past few years, he's suffering from Lou Gehrig's disease, from ALS. And in the years following that, I maintained a kesher with the Rebbe, saw him many places all over the world. I've seen him, ran into him. He used to travel all over the world, didn't take any money. And just to go and give chizuk to Jews all over the world. And then we had the schus. He was massacre in my chasana. He officiated my wedding. And it's just a very special connection that I've had over the years with him. When I was Rav in Richmond, Virginia, he came to visit us. And to this day, I maintain a connection with him. As I said, unfortunately, the past several years, his physical state has been deteriorating. I've been to his house many times, eaten Shabbos meals in his house, and so forth. And now, he can't move very much, but his eyes move. And the miracle of science that we have today, technology, is that he has a computer that reads his eye movement, just like Stephen Hawking. And so every day, Kalover Rebbe writes every day incredible divrei Torah that have depth and meaning and insight and understanding of the human condition and understanding of history and science, things that you don't really expect to hear from a Chassidish Rebbe from Williamsburg. That's not his godless, but that just happens to be that. I'm not saying that his greatness is that he knows about science and history, although that fascinates me and it interests me a lot. That a Hasidic Rebbe who was born in Hungary, who lives in Williamsburg, should be so knowledgeable of history and science and things like that. And he writes about these things as well in incredible ways, but he also understands what people's lives are like. He understands the challenges of working in an office and making a living and things. I'm just really amazed, and he has so much care because he could just relax. He doesn't have to do anything. He's physically very ill, but his mind is so clear. He just goes out and constantly writes. Every day he's writing, and every week he picks one of his writings that he wrote that week with just his eye, with the computer that captures his eye movements. He's writing in Hebrew, and once a week he asks, sometimes more, especially on holidays and things, he asks that his writings be translated into English and Spanish and many other languages and sent to thousands of people, I think Portuguese and French as well. And his Divrei Torah is sent to thousands of people all over the world. I think the English list has over 20,000 people. And I wanted to share, I'm too busy to sit and type right now. So during this time that I'm driving right now, I want to just share what the Rebbe wrote today, and asked for people and asked for this particular Dvar Torah to be published. I'm not taking any responsibility for what the Rebbe is saying. I'm only just translating it directly, exactly how he is writing it. And although I might have my own comments in the video, and he writes like this: Rosh Chodesh Adar, B'siyata D'Shmaya, with the help from heaven. Rosh Chodesh Adar, Tavshin Ayin Ches. Today's the new moon of Adar, 57, 78. L'chvoid Achet Bnei Yisrael, in honor of our brethren, our Jewish brethren, the children of Israel. Toishvei New York Vasviva, the residents of the greater New York area, New York and the surrounding areas. Hine, behold, B'chol Hadars B'nai Israel, among all the generations of the children of Israel, Oid Loi Hoya, Matzav Hatzalos, Es Nafshois Es Yisrael, K'moi, Es Nafshois Acheinu B'nai Israel Mibuchara. He said, it's hard to really bring out the idiom of what he's saying. He said, behold, there never was in all of the generations of the Jewish history a situation of saving Jewish souls that can be compared to the story of the history of saving the souls of our brothers, the Bukharian Jews. The Chol Hadoros Davosehem Rusland Masrus Nafsham Loyes Balol Chalila V'Chasim Agoy. That through all the generations that they lived, their ancestors lived in Russia, they never were assimilated amongst the nations around them. However, today, because of monetary lack of funds, monetary lacking, they, instead of attending proper Jewish schools, many of them send their children to public schools where they study among people who don't share our faith. And something that never happened before among the Bukharians is that now they have intermarriages with people of other religions. may the merciful God save us and spare us from knowing such things. She'ir lachroina kan in New York, Shchunas Flatbush. Shenisrif Bayis Yehudi, and Chelik B'nei HaMishpacha, Rachmana Litzlan. The Rebbe writes, recently in New York, in Brooklyn, in Flatbush, there was a case where unfortunately a Jewish family lost their home and many members of their family in a fire. Okay, said Yisrael Kedoshim also call Mashbiyadam L'Sayeh, but Solos Refuas Hanifgoyim. We should see how the Jewish people, how holy they are. They did whatever they could to help save and heal those who were injured in this fire. Today, now, we need to know that there is a big, horrific fire burning in the neighborhood of Queens. That is possible to destroy and to burn up thousands of Jewish souls. Nishmais Yisrael. Yesh l'sboinen. Shechoyv aleinu lasis kol mash b'yadeinu latzilam. We have to know, we have to contemplate that we have an obligation to do whatever we could do, latzilam, to rescue them, k'moisha hayu oisim, im haya doiver, im haya meduber, b'sekonis haguf. That we have an obligation to do whatever we can to save these souls, just as we would if their bodies were in danger with the physical fire. These we have to save the spiritual fire, to save them from being destroyed in the spiritual fire. So the Rebbe continues now, like I said, he speaks about history in a brilliant way with insights that many history professors don't have. And I've argued with history professors personally. I'm just talking the points that the Rebbe brings up here. In the last generation, there were two very cursed, wicked men. One was Hitler, may his name be blotted out. Shehevi shoya gashmis, shehishmida as a guf shel milyona Yehudim. One was Hitler, who brought a physical Holocaust that destroyed the bodies of millions of Jews. Vasheni haya Stalin yimach shemai. But the second was Stalin, may his name be blotted out. Shehevi shoya ruchnis, shehishmida as a neshama shel milyona Yehudim. But the second one was Stalin, may his name be blotted out, who perpetrated a spiritual Holocaust that destroyed the souls of millions of Jews. And we should really add that, of course, Hitler was also involved in attacking religion. He outlawed religious practices. And Stalin perpetrated a physical Holocaust perhaps worse than Hitler, because Hitler maybe killed 20 million people, maybe 12 million people, between 12 to 20 million people, between Jews and Gentiles and all different people that he killed. The majority maybe were Jewish, maybe not even, if it's 20, obviously the majority were not Jewish, but there's a big number of Jews when you consider how few Jews there were. But at least 6 million Jews, and of course their descendants and all were also blotted out. They weren't able to. But then you have the Stalin. He killed between 20 to 50 million people in his gulags. So there is also a material aspect to both and a spiritual aspect to both. What the Rebbe is saying is that we'll go further. But oilam, that but as far as we look at the Jewish people, Hitler killed the bodies and Stalin murdered the souls. Now, a lot of people in the world talk about the bodily attacks, the destruction of the bodies that Hitler perpetrated, that the Nazis perpetrated. Maybe now you know where I get some of my ideology here, even though I never read the Rebbe before, but I agree very strongly that it's as much as we have to talk about the physical destruction that the Nazis brought to the world, and as evil and horrible as that was, we have to speak more about the spiritual Holocaust that the communists waged, and also particularly because today there's much more of a threat of Marxist ideology than there is of Nazi ideology. Well, first of all, both communism and Nazism are both Marxist in their roots, but they're both socialist. Just one is communist and one is National Socialist. They're both rooted in Marxism and left-wing ideology. But the point the Rebbe is bringing out here is that communism was much more destructive than Nazism. And if we are believers in the soul, obviously that has to be true, because all of those martyrs of the Nazis are all in heaven right now, and all and the highest levels of spiritual heights, because they died as holy martyrs. But by the communists, how many souls were destroyed, and they went to the deepest levels of hell because of the communist destruction of the soul. So the Rebbe says we have, as much as we have to talk about the Nazis, we have to talk more about the communists. Shehishchichu as a terva hayahadus mibnei Yisrael, because the communists caused Torah and Judaism to be forgotten among the Jewish people. And not only that, like I just said, I didn't read this far as I know from what the Rebbe said, because I only read about until this point before I started making this video, that the destruction that the communists wrought continues to this very day. Because the Russian Jews, so many of them have abandoned Judaism, and their children also are growing up totally ignorant of Judaism, even once they've escaped Russia. So the Chorban nimshach v'hoylech v'nimshach hariyem etzel yotzei Russia shem korbanei sheyezo. The Russian Jews still to today they used to be very religious. The communists ripped them away from their religion, and so these Russian Jews are the victims of the Russian Holocaust, the spiritual Holocaust that the Russians wrought. And that spiritual Holocaust is continuing to this day as there is more and more assimilation. And furthermore, but we have the power to save these souls, to teach them about the Torah. It's also known what our sages taught. Shegadol avoinai shalamachti is adam yoiser min hargai. If someone causes someone to leave their religion, to leave Judaism, to leave Torah, to cause him to sin and live a life of sin, such a person is worse than a murderer. Because he's ki b'chet poigim ba neshama, v'ikra adam in neshama, she nitzchis v'lo yakuf shenivra rak liyes klila neshama b'zman hakatzuv she boil mazer. Because the soul is eternal, and so therefore sin damages the soul and can destroy the soul. And so therefore, but the body is temporary and the soul is eternal. So the body is just here temporarily as a vessel to keep the soul for as long as God decides that the soul should remain in this body. In this world, that as long as the soul needs to remain in this body, needs to remain in this world, it needs, like if we would go, we could compare it, we want to go into outer space. We need to have a spacesuit, right? We want to go underwater. We need to have a scuba suit, right? So we want to be in this world. So that's how our body lives in an environment where it doesn't usually live. Can't usually survive otherwise. So similarly, our soul doesn't really live in this world, doesn't really interact with this world, and the body is here as for the soul.